18 local matters. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio said he is creating a new federal leadership PAC known as the Fairness PAC. It will pay for both the mayor and his wife's campaign-related travel. It will also give direct support to both federal and state candidates, which de Blasio has said he felt was a, quote, obligation. Joining me now is WCBS New York chief political correspondent Marica Kramer to help us sort through some of this. Great to have you here.
Great to be with you, Meg.
So I'm curious. The mayor said that he created this PAC to help progressive candidates across the country, but then there's speculation that he may be making a national run for himself. So what's going on here?
Well, there's two things at play. Number one, obviously everybody believes that he wants to run for office one day, but he has pledged to serve his whole term. But also I think he says it's his obligation to try to elect Democrats to the House and Senate, and also Democrats to the state Senate here in New York, and he wants to make that a priority. The problem for him is that he's got into problems before in raising money. It led to a lot of corruption investigations, so he has to be very careful in how he raises money this time and what he spends it on.
Well, you bring up a really good point, because it wasn't too long ago that he was investigated for campaign finance laws. So creating this pact, that must raise some serious questions.
Well, everybody's going to be looking at it, and I think they're going to make sure that he holds to the very letter of the law, and people are going to look at it and make sure that the federal government makes sure that he does as well. And I suspect that President Trump, who is criticized often by Bill de Blasio, will be taking a look as well.
Someone else who is also focusing on a more progressive agenda is New York's junior Senator Gillibrand. She has come out strongly calling for ICE to be abolished. Are party leaders concerned about her shift to the left?
Yes, they are. In fact, I actually did a story about it this week, and I can tell you that I talked to people, sources in the Democratic Party, and they say that they're concerned that her absolutely dramatic shift to the left is going to make it more difficult for other more moderate Democrats, read that to mean red state Democrats, to get reelected this year. And, you know, the goal in the Senate of Senator Chuck Schumer, the minority leader, is to hopefully try to turn the Senate. So he's looking at that as making his job much more difficult.
Let's talk about the New York governor's race, because this is pretty fascinating. You have a newcomer, actress Cynthia Nixon, making a run for it, going up against Andrew Cuomo. She's been trailing in the polls week after week. Do you think that's a true reflection of what we're going to see this fall?
You know, I'm not exactly sure, but I don't think so. But because I think that her supporters are energized. They're excited to have a candidate like her. But then again, you have another situation. You have the situation where he has a $35 million war chest. She has like less than $1 million. So the question is whether his ad campaign and his social media campaign can offset the enthusiasm gap. Now, he has to get his voters to the polls too, and she could end up, if not winning, embarrassing him by the numbers of people she gets out. Remember, the last time around, a woman by the name of Zephyr Teachout, who had basically no support, got 34% of the vote, and that was a big embarrassment to him. This time, this is a well-known actress. People feel that they know her. She could be a real problem for him.
Has she proven that she is ready to be in political office?
That's the big unknown, isn't it? You know, I mean, it's hard to know because, look, she's an actress. She can read a speech. She's very good at delivering lines. The question is, you know, if they were to ever debate, you know, what would happen and whether she could hold her own. I mean, she's smart. She's a very smart woman, educated here in New York. And, you know, her mother was a single mother, raised her. And she's really the story of a self-made woman. So, you know, I think she's been through a lot. She's achieved a lot, and that may help her, you know, as she goes along, if she gets to the top office.
It's going to be really interesting to watch. Now, in truly local matters, the New York Housing Authority announced Wednesday night that it's not complying on a number of issues that they have completely denied for years, including lead paint inspections and mold remediation. After denying these claims for so long, why are they fessing up now?
Well, what happened was there was a big embarrassment. It turned out that the federal government found out that they were lying about lead paint. And then when the mayor insisted that there were only 19 children who were affected by lead paint, it turned out there were nearly 800. So then people have been looking at it with a fine-tooth comb. And the federal government forced them to sign a consent decree. And in their investigation, they found out that they were lying to the federal inspectors and and claiming that they did repairs that they never did. But they did all kinds of things, like they would mask the repairs by putting up doors so you couldn't get in to see the bad stuff, or putting up cardboard to cover up what could be walls that were falling apart. So this history that the federal government disclosed then forced investigators to look, and then what could they do? They had to fess up because it was what it was.
Alarming indeed.
Alarming.
Marica Kramer, WCBS Chief Political Correspondent, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks.